The story begins when we see the great hero fighting against the Demon King. The Demon King tries to crush him with a massive boulder, but the hero picks up a small stone from the ground and throws it with all his strength. Despite the size difference, the small stone pushes the massive boulder back and shatters it. The hero tells the Demon King, "It's time to end this." Both unleash their ultimate skills, and the clash destroys the entire area. Pushed to their very limits, they continue fighting. In the end, both stab each other, and the result is a draw. The hero only feels relief, knowing that it is finally over. Sometime later, we see a strange boy named Blade entering the Hero Academy. He is excited to live a normal life. Wanting to make friends, he greets everyone warmly. He approaches a group of students and introduces himself, but they find him a little weird. Soon after, he meets Kasim, Kyle, and two girls, Claire and Jessie. He quickly realizes that his only wish here is to make friends. Claire teases him, asking, "So, do you want to be our friend?" Blade instantly says yes, thrilled that he has already made 4 new friends on his very first day. Just then, the Academy's #1 student, Ernest Flaming, arrives to check what the commotion is about. She asks who Blade is, since she has never seen him before. Claire explains that he is a new student. Ernest finds this strange because the Academy only accepts aspiring heroes, and late admissions are not allowed. Blade calmly replies that he has no plans of becoming a hero, he only came here to make friends. Ernest is confused by this answer. Blade then asks her to take him to the headmaster's office. When they enter, Ernest is shocked to see that instead of the headmaster, the king himself is sitting there. She immediately bows down, but Blade casually walks forward. Embarrassed, Ernest apologizes to the king for Blade's rudeness. But the king recognizes her as the Academy's top student. Then he makes an announcement he is now the new headmaster of the Academy. Ernest is thrilled, but the king tells her he wishes to speak privately with Blade. Ernest finds it strange that Blade is able to talk so casually with the king. Then the truth is revealed. Blade is actually the same great hero we saw at the beginning. The king wants to help him regain his lost powers. But Blade refuses, saying he only wishes to live as an ordinary man. With the Demon King gone, the world no longer needs him. The king insists, wanting to bring back the great hero, but Blade stands firm. Later in the training arena, Ernest is surprised to see Blade. She reminds him that this is an advanced class. Blade replies that he already passed the lower class exams and was told he could join. Ernest immediately accuses him of bribing his way in, saying this behavior is unfit for the Academy. But Blade seriously answers that he just wants to make friends. He greets everyone again and introduces himself. When Ernest yells at him to listen, Blade calmly says he is listening and places his hand on her head. Furious, Ernest unleashes her power and destroys a wall with her attack. Just then, a girl appears, telling them the instructor has called everyone. Blade introduces himself to her and she replies that her name is Sophie. He is delighted to meet her. Ernest, still irritated, convinces the teacher to test Blade's ability. Though the teacher had other plans, he gives in to her pressure. They set up a training dummy clad in enchanted armor. Ernest proudly explains that every advanced student can easily cut through it. Blade prepares to show his worth. Ernest warns him that the advanced class is 3 levels above the lower class, so he should adjust his strength. Blade surrounds his sword with wind energy and unleashes his ultimate skill, Dragon Eater. The attack not only shatters the dummy, but also destroys the wall behind it. The force of the strike even breaks Blade's own sword. Everyone is shocked, especially Ernest, who wonders just who this boy really is. Some students are lightly injured from the impact, but Blade still insists, "I'm just an ordinary person, nothing more." During the break, Blade sits at Ernest's table and calls his new friends over, but they refuse to join him. Wondering if he said something wrong, he looks at Ernest. She tells him that the table is reserved only for her and that everyone else is too afraid to sit there. Blade calmly continues eating his meal. Ernest takes back the harsh words she had spoken to him earlier. But Blade doesn't even remember what she said and replies, "Forget about that. Just focus on the food." He thanks her and adds, "Since we're eating together, that makes you my friend." Hearing this, Ernest blushes and admits she doesn't mind being friends with him. That evening, Ernest thinks about Blade and feels happy that she has finally made her very first friend. Suddenly, her sword begins to tremble. In a flashback, we see a young Ernest approaching the demon sword. A voice calls out to her, urging her to surrender herself. As soon as she touches the blade, her hair turns red, and ever since then, she has constantly heard a voice in her head telling her to destroy everything. Back in the present, Ernest faces a duel with a boy named Leonard. He attacks with his lance, but Ernest easily deflects it and sends him flying. Then it's Sophie's turn. She fights Ernest on equal terms for a while, but when Ernest uses her fire skill, Sophie is forced to retreat. Finally, Ernest is about to face Blade in battle, but suddenly she feels a strange energy surge within her and collapses unconscious. Blade immediately carries her to the infirmary. After examining her, the doctor explains that Ernest is under a curse and there is nothing she can do about it. Ernest regains consciousness but has no memory of what happened. She fears she might have done something terrible, but Blade reassures her that she merely fainted, nothing more. The doctor advises her to rest, but Ernest insists on getting up. The doctor refuses, but Blade volunteers to look after her. As he helps her, Ernest asks him not to tell the other students about her condition. Blade later searches the academy database and discovers the name connected to her sword, Asmodeus. He confronts Ernest, saying he knows the secret of her weapon. Ernest explains that the sword had belonged to her family, and when she touched it at the age of 6, the demon entered her. Since then, she has been fighting against its constant urge to destroy everything. Blade suggests that she should make a pact with Asmodeus to become its proper master. Terrified, Ernest says if she fails, the demon will awaken completely and annihilate everything. Blade assures her that if that happens, he will stop her himself. That evening, Ernest prepares to face Asmodeus. She challenges it, transforming into a massive fire tornado. Inside, Asmodeus appears, and the battle begins. A demon breaks free from the tornado and wreaks havoc, but Blade easily defeats it. Ernest feels relieved knowing that Blade is there with her. She draws her sword and charges at Asmodeus. The demon breaks its seal and unleashes a powerful energy beam. Their powers clash and the fiery tornado disappears. In the end, Ernest wins, but as she collapses, Blade catches her. Both are relieved and happy that Ernest has finally regained control.